Hello friends, good morning. In this session I will be starting with the science and technology part of current affairs. This session is designed preliminary for mainly for the preliminary examinations. Science and technology is most important for your prelims. There will be definitely be questions. So we will be looking into the theory part and on a continuous structured manner from tomorrow's class onwards. But today we are going to look at the various space missions and associated terminologies. So this is a five-part series. This is L1 and we have up to L5. And the L5 will be a 3 hour plus session. That will be a marathon session where we will be looking into everything that is left out. So completely covering the science and technology for prelims perspective as much as we can. Prelims are getting near. The new date has been in October, right? So only a month to go. From where do you study science and technology? You have to study science and technology from newspaper. Mainly it is the newspaper. Newspaper read especially like newspapers like Hindu and all have a particular area where science and technology news come daily. So look into that, read that, write short notes on that. Do not study it for a mains perspective. I mean, nobody is going to ask you in mains to elaborate on a particular scientific concept. You need it especially for your prelims perspective, unless you are going to take some optional that is related to that area. So study everything related to science and technology in your newspapers. Make short notes, point, important points, write it down. You can refer other materials that are available in online as well. And whenever you study about this, science and technology has many parts. We have space related technologies, we have environment related science and technology, then we have what science and technology, that is theory part. For your theory part, cover the NCRTs. That is enough, more than enough. Just read through them. You already know the concepts, you have studied this in school. No need to go into deep or anything. We are not preparing for PhDs or your university examinations. This is UPSC, so understand the concept more than enough. Theory. Other things, space, environment, and science and technology related to computer, IT. These things you will get from newspaper and other online materials. Read it in a prelims point of view. Just that one word answers. We are looking for that specific points. No necessary to elaborate. I have structured the slides today in such a fashion. We are looking into space technology, so we will be looking into NASA's space certain Osiris Rex and like that. We have India's space missions like Gaganyaan, Mangal. Not today. We won't be looking into Mangalyaan, but Chandrayaan and all that. So look at the way I have arranged the slides. That is enough. So you will get an idea how to prepare for science and technology as far as your current affairs is concerned. For your theory part, read the NCRTs. That's it. So today we are going to begin the first session on science and technology. This is a 5-part session every day at 11 a.m. For the next 5 days, culminating on Monday, which will be a 3-hour session. We will be looking at as much as possible for your prelims only. So this is all possible because Unacademy provides us with the largest platform in India in order to have daily live classes. You can chat with educator, discussions, ask doubts and all that. Then we have live tests and quizzes. You can attempt them, gain more confidence. Make sure you attend these things. We have structured courses where we completely cover the syllabus of that particular exam. Then we have unlimited access to all our videos and other resources. Or to get all this, just download the Unacademy learning app from Google Play or App Store and sign up. That's it. You are in, and you can choose some packages as well if you want. So I am Madhav Sankar R Warrier. I have been conducting lessons for the past 5 years. Although I am new at Unacademy, I have been doing this offline for some time now. I have been a banker as well. So this is my mobile number, contact number for WhatsApp. Ask any doubts, queries, book list, checklist, anything you can ask in this contact number. And here you will get updates of all my classes, PDFs, notes and everything in this Telegram channel. So just subscribe onto it. This is my Unacademy channel where I will be taking many other lessons also. I have already completed some lessons there, so do look into them as well. I have some special sessions coming on August 20th, 22nd. Okay, this Saturday. I will be taking 3 special sessions in unacademy.com in this website related to disintegration of Mughal Empire. Okay, disintegration of Mughals, Indian philosophical systems. Okay, Indian philosophical systems and revolt of 1857. Okay, these 3 sessions on these 3 topics would be available at this link on 22nd August live. Okay, you can check the timings and all there, so do look into it. So yeah, Unacademy gives you world famous faculties of national reputation. Okay, you have many of these faces are very familiar to you, no need for any introduction to them. And this is a snapshot of what UPSC channel offers you. We have complete coverage of various courses including optional subjects, answer writing courses, practice and strategy, NCRT coverage. Okay, so do look into all this and get a subscription at these rates. You have various plans to do this, starting from 1 month all the way to a 1 year plan, which is highly recommended. Okay, so there are 2 courses, Plus and Iconic. Plus courses is offered to you by in 2 packages of 1 year and 2 year, starting with 44,000 rupees, which will get reduced to 39,600 if you use my code. Okay, so additional 10% discount. Now here also a 10% discount can be availed using my code. So what is Iconic? Iconic is another subscription of your Unacademy where you will be given a dedicated personal coach on a one-on-one basis. It won't be a one-to-many class. Okay, it will be a one-on-one sessions. He or she will give you personalized feedback and guide you through your examination scenario. Okay, we have daily mains practices, study planner, personalized feedback, and all these available at the Iconic subscription. Again, 2 packages, and here are the rates. Okay, also here also our discount is applicable using my code MSRW1. Okay, so make sure to look into this, get a subscription. Okay, and yeah, this is the Unacademy site I have been talking to you about. This is my Unacademy link, unacademy.com/@msrw. Do look into this and you will be able to see all these videos for free. Okay, so please do look into that. And yeah, coming to back to everything, science and technology part 1 of 5, space missions. So today we are focusing on space missions. I have told you at the beginning, you have to study all these science and technology part of UPSC in a particular way, which is related for your prelims. Science and technology is not that much important in mains. Prelims is where the crux lies. Okay, so you need not study paragraphs and paragraphs in order to fill your essays. You need to concentrate on the points, important points. That is enough. I have structured the slides in that fashion today. You can see it yourself, and whenever you prepare it, some notes regarding a particular science and technology event, prepare it accordingly. Get it? So today we are going to deal with the space missions. Okay, important space missions. Some of them are missed today, but whatever is not covered will be covered in the coming sessions. Okay, so first one is Gaganyaan. Gaganyaan, we know India's very flagship mission, right? ISRO's flagship mission. So look at this slide, how I have designed these slides. This is how you study a particular thing for science and technology. The theory part, there is a theory part for science and technology as well, which you have to cover in the NCERTs. Here you have to understand the concept. Okay, but in these things, in regarding Gaganyaan or some other scientific phenomena, the theory, more than theory, what you need to know is some factual details about that particular thing. Okay, so that is the way we are going to look at this. We will be studying the theory parts of certain science and technology events as covered in the NCERT in the coming sessions. Okay, so the date. Okay, when is it going to be launched? First one, is it already launched or not? So no, it hasn't been launched. The project is in the pipeline. So Gaganyaan is expected to be launched before the 75th anniversary of India's independence in 2022. So the expected year is 2022. Okay. Features: crewed orbital spacecraft. Okay, so it is a crewed space mission. It has 3 people in it and it has to sustain life for 7 days. Okay, it is not this, it is designed for a period of 1 week, 5 to 7 days, that is the range, and it is designed to carry 3 people, and it is a crewed orbital spacecraft, which means there will be human beings within that spacecraft. All right, this is India will become the 4th country to send man to space. So we know the history of human beings going to space. It was the Soviet Union, Russia, which sent the first man to the space. Remember his name? His name is Yuri Gagarin. Okay, Yuri Gagarin was the first cosmonaut to go into space in the Russian probe. Okay, the USSR was the first country to do that. Second one, then followed by US and China. So if India becomes successful, India will become the 4th country to join this list. Understood? The rocket. So we have this life carrying Gaganyaan, and this will be launched using a GSLV Mark III rocket. So GSLV is, we all know what GSLV is. I'm going to teach you about GSLV in this session also. So we will be looking into detail at that slide. Okay. So GSLV Mark III will be used for launching Gaganyaan. This one is actually a cryogenic engine. Okay, cryogenic indigenous engine that has been developed by India in order to carry very heavy payloads. We have PSLVs, we have GSLVs, and we have SSLVs. Okay, small satellite launch vehicles. Then we have polar satellite launch vehicles. Then we have the GSLVs, satellite launch vehicles. Okay, so these are the 3 types of launch vehicles that ISRO has, and PSLV has been the flagship vehicle of ISRO for almost all its missions because of its very cheapness and all that. SSLVs has been recently developed in order to deliver smaller payloads, and to carry very heavy payloads to higher orbits we use the GSLV launch vehicle, and the Mark III version of this rocket is used for carrying Gaganyaan. Understood? Okay, and this is going to place Gaganyaan in the lower Earth orbit of 300 to 400 kilometers. Okay, so we have the Earth and we have various orbits surrounding it. Okay, multiple orbits are there. There are lower Earth orbits, there are higher Earth orbits, and all those are there. So Gaganyaan is aimed to deliver these astronauts into the lower Earth orbit. These are factual points that you will have to remember. UPSC, when the question comes in UPSC, they will combine some of these points and will trick you. For example, they will say the GSLV Mark III will deliver Gaganyaan into the upper Earth orbit or a higher Earth orbit. That is wrong. Okay, you will remember lower Earth orbit. So I just try to remember these points. That's it. No need to connect or make a story out of it. Alright. Defense Research Development Organization, our DRDO, will provide the support for critical human-centric systems and technologies. So this is not a one-man venture. This is not simply done by ISRO. We have other agencies also in play. Okay, so Defense Research and Development Organization is India's one of the flagship organizations that manufactures missiles and other ammunitions in India. Okay, conducts research into that field. And DRDO is the one who will be providing support for critical human systems and technologies. So what do you mean by critical human-centric systems? This is the first time we are sending humans into space, right? So we have to be sure that they are medically well off. Their suits are holding in that pressure. Space has zero pressure, right? So if they go into space without adequate protection, they will implode into themselves. That is what it is called. There is no explosion, there is implosion. Why? Because human body has some pressure, space doesn't, and the human body will just implode into itself and causes death. If you have seen the movie Avengers Avengers Infinity War, okay, it is there. It shows what is implosion is. Okay, so all these things are handled by DRDO, all human-centric critical systems, medical systems, and all of these are handled by DRDO. ISRO's Human Space Flight Center and GlavCosmos. Okay, ISRO has Human Space Flight Center. Similarly, this is GlavCosmos is Russia's space program. Okay, these two are combining for selection, support, medical examination, and training of astronauts. So this is a new venture for India. So obviously, it is good to have consultations from around the world, from people who have already been there, from countries who have already succeeded in this mission. So India is approaching its longest ally, Russia, or the Soviet Union, hence Soviet Union, to collaborate with this mission in training India's astronauts. Okay, so there will be some selection criteria. There will be some medical examinations and training stuff. Okay, so all the people in this mission will be Indian Air Force pilots. Okay, Air Force pilots will be chosen from among them and sent into space. Assistance from the French Space Agency CNES. See, we have seen assistance from DRDO, then from the GlavCosmos or Russia. Sorry, GlavCosmos. Okay, from Russia, and the French agency CNES. CNES is actually used. CNES will collaborate with India in order to look into the space medicine, astronaut health monitoring, radiation protection, life support, and these kinds of things. So all the medical things are done by or looked into by CNES. Okay, DRDO provides all the technology things and human critical systems. GlavCosmos will train the astronauts, and CNES will look into the medical and health scenario in the outer space. Vyoma Mitra. So this time humans are not going alone. There is going to be a robot. A female robot is going to assist our astronauts into space in Gaganyaan. And the name of that robot is Vyoma Mitra. Okay, Vyoma Mitra will accompany the astronauts in this mission to conduct various studies and tests. Okay, Gaganyaan National Advisory Council. So this is a council comprising of lots and lots of personalities. That is why I haven't written who all are there. There are lots of ministries involved. Eminent personalities are there. Secretaries of many departments are there. Okay, so together they form the Gaganyaan National Advisory Council, which will be looking into everything regarding the administrative part of Gaganyaan. Okay, the project will be guided by this council, Gaganyaan National Advisory Council. 2 unmanned Gaganyaan flights by December 2020 and July 2021, and a manned mission by December 2021. So this is the first time we are going to space, or we are going to send humans into space, right? So we have to conduct some trials before that to make sure everything is going well. So there will be 2 unmanned flights of Gaganyaan first. One is scheduled to be on December 20. We have to see whether this will happen due to the COVID-19 delays that have happened recently. But let's see anyway. Okay, one was planned to on December 2020, another was planned on July 2021, and afterwards the final mission was supposed to take place on December 2021 or close to 2022. Okay, so this was the chartered plan according to ISRO. Gaganyaan would be smaller in size compared to Russian Soyuz, Chinese Shenzhou, and NASA's Orion spacecraft. So these are some spacecrafts that have or are planning to carry humans into space. Orion is going to be conducted. Soyuz is Russia's very famous capsule which has sent humans to space. China has used its Shenzhou capsule. So along with that, Gaganyaan will join this league and would be smaller than all of these. Okay, smallest of all these capsules, Gaganyaan. Astronauts on the human space mission Gaganyaan will be, I have already told you this, it will be IAF pilots only. Pilots of Indian Air Force who have undergone training in Russia. So that this is all you need to know about Gaganyaan. More than enough for your prelims. Okay, so coming to Chandrayaan II. So you also study Chandrayaan 1. Okay, Chandrayaan 1 is important. Chandrayaan 3 is also important. But today I am going to cover 2 only. Alright. So Chandrayaan 2, it is a completely indigenous mission. That is important. In the previous one we have seen some expertise and help from other nations, but it won't happen in Chandrayaan 2. Chandrayaan 2 is a complete. It hasn't happened in Chandrayaan 2. It has been completely India's mission. We have seen what happened in the Chandrayaan 2 venture. It crash landed into the moon. Actually, it did not succeed, right? Uh, Part of it was a failure. So this is India's second lunar exploration mission, followed by Chandrayaan 1. So Chandrayaan 1 was a very successful mission. You may have remember this Chandrayaan mission, this that came into in the newspapers. This kind of figure used to come in newspapers that time. Remember the Chandrayaan moving from the Earth orbit into the Moon's orbit. So that was Chandrayaan 1. Chandrayaan 2 also was sent recently, and this is the second lunar mission by India. It had three parts. Okay, the mission had three modules. The Vikram lander, India's first soft landing probe. So what is soft landing? So there are two kinds of landing. One is hard landing or crash landing, and the other is soft landing. So in hard landing, in soft landing, what it does is it gradually reduces the velocity as they approach the moon and try to get the probe into the moon in one piece, okay, or try to soft land into the moon. This is the first step of sending humans into moon. Okay, India has not successfully done that yet, but other nations like USA, Russia and China has done that. Okay, so soft landing mission was a failure in Chandrayaan 2, and Vikram lander was supposed to be the module that conducts soft landing. Okay, so if you remember, it was a success until the last 10 minutes. We were very close to soft landing, and at the last moment we lost control and it crash landed into the moon, and we mission failed. Okay, that part of the mission failed. Then we have Pragyan rover. So the plan was get the rover within the Vikram lander into the moon using the Vikram lander, and then the rover will conduct on-site chemical analysis to study more about moon, to study about the composition of the rocks, to study about the minerals that are present there, to study about presence of water, earlier presence of water, and all these things. That was supposed to be conducted by the Pragyan rover. Launcher. The third part was the launcher. It was launched by a geosynchronous satellite launch vehicle, or the GSLV Mark III. So Gaganyaan will also be taken into the space with the GSLV rocket, GSLV Mark III, and this one used the GSLV Mark III M1. Okay, this was a very successful part of this mission. The launcher was successful, and GSLV took the probe as it was required. Okay, so don't forget Vikram lander, Pragyan rover, and the launcher. This was launched on 22nd July 2019. Not important. Okay, date is not important. From the Satish Dhawan Space Center, Sriharikota. Okay, remember Satish Dhawan Space Center or the Sriharikota Center is from where the rocket launchings happen in India. Alright, and most of the rocket launchings happen at Sriharikota. Most of the missile launchings happen at the Orissa coast, in the state of Orissa. Okay, do not forget that. These two are almost fixed sites. Okay, that are the best sites to conduct these experiments. South polar region of the moon. This is another important thing to note. If India had succeeded in this mission, it would have been the first country to land a rover in the south polar region of the moon. So what is so particular about south polar region of the moon? Why do we have to go there? It is because it is always in the shadow region of the moon. So when we look up at the sky in the night, we see the moon, right? But that part is the lit up side. The sun is there, so that part is lit up. But the other part we cannot see. It is always in the shadows. So it is hard to conduct or investigate or research into this portion of the moon sitting in Earth. So we have to have something there. Some apparatus have to be sent into the moon. That is why this mission was conducted. And scientists believe that this part, the shadow part of the moon, has many features which can help understand the origin of Earth, origin of universe, and all those things. Okay, so it has undergone minimal variations or minimal mutations, and have preserved most of the origin of universe fossils. That is what is said by the scientists. So in order to look into all that, South polar region of the moon was chosen for the Chandrayaan II mission. India could have been the fourth country after USSR, US and PRC to do the soft landing. So in Gaganyaan as well, we saw these countries are leading. Here also we are lagging behind these three countries. Okay, pre-attempt soft landing in Chandrayaan 3. So now Chandrayaan 2 soft landing failed. So we will be looking into the Chandrayaan 3, like where the soft landing will be re-attempted. So this is all that you need to know about Chandrayaan 2. Get it? I hope you understood. Some more additional points, okay, that I think I have already explained most of this, but for your taking notes purpose, I am telling it. So moon provides the best linkage to Earth's early history. I told you this already. So if we study the moon, we will have some idea about Earth, origin of the Earth as well, because Earth has changed a lot because of all the human activities, presence of life, and all these things. Earth has undergone severe mutations. So we cannot directly link it back to the origin of universe. But comparatively, moon is isolated. It hasn't been much disturbed yet. So lots of early things are preserved in the moon as such. Okay, so if we can study that, we can also study about Earth. Evidence of water molecules discovered by Chandrayaan 1, and also studying chemical compositions of various rocks. I told you this. Demonstrate the ability of soft landing. This was the primary objective of Chandrayaan 2, main objective, to demonstrate the ability of soft landing, but this part failed. Okay, to study the density of electrons in moon's ionosphere. We know what ionosphere is. Earth also has an ionosphere. Ionosphere is the one of the top layers of the atmosphere. Moon doesn't have one, but Earth has one, which is used for bouncing of all the satellite radio communication signals. Right. In Earth, we communicate via radio or all those things, FM. All these things are possible because of this ionosphere. We send in the signal, it will hit at the ionosphere and come back. Okay, so that is what is ionosphere. So moon also has some kind of thing like that, and that we need to study the density of electrons in moon's ionosphere. That was one of the aims of Chandrayaan 2. Why the lunar south pole? Because it remains in shadow forever. Already explained. Craters that could traps consist of fossil record of early solar system. Already told you. It hasn't been disturbed much, so most of it is preserved as what it is. Untapped sources of essential resources. So moon is unknown to many. It is a possibility that moon has immense resources. Right? We have in Earth we have already depleted lots of resources, and by exploiting it a lot, our oil resources and oil fields are getting low. The reserves are going low. So moon is a potential source of essential resources, and that is why lunar south pole is considered for the purpose of Chandrayaan 2. I hope you understood whatever I have taught you. What is a geotail? Okay, so this is something related to the Chandrayaan 2 mission. Okay, Chandrayaan 2 has detected charged particles in moon's soil during the orbiter's passage through the geotail. This is why it is in the news. So some charged particles has been detected in the moon while Chandrayaan 2 passed through the geotail. So what exactly is geotail? Okay, so before that, I have to tell you about this particular instrument which was used to detect all these things. It is called the CLASS instrument. CLASS stands for Chandrayaan 2 Large Area Soft X-ray Spectrometer. Okay, no need to study the definition as such. Just remember that CLASS instrument was used in Chandrayaan 2 in order to do spectroscopy, or in order to study some significant features of the moon. Okay, and best of this features in the moon was best observed when solar flare provided a rich source of X-rays. We all know what solar flare is, right? It very frequent things that happen in the sun due to various reactions. In this corona, sun has many layers, core, corona, and all that. So this happens in the corona region of the sun, and during one of these solar flares, CLASS instrument in Chandrayaan 2 was able to find or detect certain elements in the moon's soil. Alright, so Once every 29 days, moon traverses the geotail for about 6 days. So before telling you about this, let me tell you about what exactly a geotail is. Okay, so solar wind from corona. We all know that Earth has a magnetic field. This is Earth, and Earth, we have North Pole and South Pole, so obviously there is a magnetic field around Earth. Okay, this is how the magnetic field usually presents. Okay, so here we have the sun. So what happens is when solar wind comes from the corona, solar wind means huge explosions within the sun's corona due to the nuclear fission and fusion. Okay, causes huge outbursts of various particles like the various subatomic particles. Okay, so all these together form the solar wind. So when that wind comes from the sun and hit this magnetic field, it causes some distortion in this magnetic field. Okay, it won't be just like this, there will be some variations, and what happens is this will get some distorted like this part which is directly exposed to the sun's solar flare will get crammed up, will get pressed down. Okay, and the other part will extend outwards. Okay, earlier it was uniform, but now due to the direct intensity of the solar wind, this part got compressed and the other part got pushed out. Okay, this is known as the magnetosphere. Okay, this magnetic sphere or the magnetosphere, here it is compressed and here it is elongated, so this together forms the geotail. This is what is geotails. Okay, so the magnetic field around the earth is, look, you can see here it looks like a tail extending backwards, right? This is called geotail. So yeah, that is what it's written. Side facing the sun is compressed and the opposite side is extended beyond the orbit of moon, is called geotail. So moon is somewhere here. Okay, earlier before this solar wind, the magnetosphere was up to here only, and due to the solar wind it expanded or extended beyond the orbit of moon. So moon also comes in the influence of this geotail, and during this time Chandrayaan II was able to detect certain elements. Understood? That is all about geotail. Voyager 2. This is another very important probe, Voyager 2. NASA fixes its Voyager 2 probe remotely. This is why it is in news now. Okay, Voyager 2 is a very old probe. Okay, nothing new. It has been in, I don't remember the exact year. I think it's somewhere in 1970s. Okay, 1975 or something like that. Not important. Year is not important as far as it's concerned. You understand that it has been in the news because NASA fixed that probe remotely. That probe is billions of kilometers away actually, and NASA was able to do a remote maintenance. This is the second man-made object to leave the heliosphere. Okay, so what is a heliosphere? Heliosphere means the area where the sun has its influence. So we have the solar system here, sun, right? And we have the various planets revolving around the sun. Okay, so all these are influenced by the sun. Heliosphere is the area up to which the sun's influence exists. Beyond that, there is no influence by the sun. Understood? So this is the second man-made object to leave the heliosphere. I will tell you about the other ones as we move on. Okay. Only spacecraft to have visited all four gas giants: Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. So what are gas giants? They are also known as Jovian planets. Okay. So some of the how the solar system was formed. For the solar system was, there was initially Big Bang, and then particles or dust particles started circulating around the sun. Eventually what happened, these dust particles began to compress or get into itself due to the centripetal forces and start forming masses. That is how planets and other celestial bodies were formed. Okay, some of the planets like Mercury, Venus, Earth and Mars, these are called terrestrial planets, or they are solid in nature. Other planets, or called the gas giants, are completely gaseous. There are no solid particles in these planets. These are the bigger planets: Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Have you ever thought why Jupiter is so big or why Saturn is so big? Jupiter is some X number of times larger than Earth. The reason is this, because it is a gaseous planet. Unlike Earth, as far as Earth is concerned, all the gases have compressed and has formed a crust. Okay, that did not happen in Jupiter and Saturn. Okay, so this Voyager 2 also discovered 16 moons. These are the achievements of Voyager 2. Okay, it discovered 16 moons of various planets. It discovered the Neptune's mysteriously transient grey dark spot. So this is great dark spot. This is something a feature of the planet Neptune. We do not have to go into detail about that. Understand that great dark spot is visible in Neptune, which is also a gaseous giant. Cracks in Europa's ice shell. Europa is one of the satellites, and they have Voyager 2 observed certain cracks in Europa's ice shell and some other features as well regarding the rings. Okay, so these are the achievements of Voyager 2. So I have here put the definition of heliosphere here. The bubble around the sun created by the outward flow of solar wind from the sun and the opposing inward flow of interstellar wind. Okay, so that is what I told. This is the area where sun has its influence. So it is believed that there is two kinds of winds. One is the solar wind by the sun and the intergalactic wind or the interstellar wind, which comes from outer universe. There are lots of stars in outer universe, right? So everything emits all these kinds of things, and there is something called the interstellar wind. So these two neutralizes at a particular point, and this point is called the heliopause. Okay, heliopause marks the end of the heliosphere and beginning of the interstellar space. So this ring that I have drawn, everything within this ring is heliosphere. Everything out of this ring is the interstellar sphere and interstellar space. Okay, and this ring, this line is, or the area is known as the heliopause. Okay, now I hope it is very clear to you. This is the heliopause. Okay, so Voyager 1, okay, this is Voyager 2 we are talking about. Voyager 1 departed Earth on 1977 after Voyager 2 and left our solar system in 2013. So I have told you this here in the second point. Voyager 2 is the second man-made object to leave heliosphere. First one was Voyager 1. Understood? The mission objective of Voyager interstellar mission is to extend the NASA exploration of the solar system beyond the neighborhood of the outer planets to outer limits of Sun's sphere and so just understand that this is a part of NASA's project. Okay, this Voyager is a NASA mission, US mission, and there is a program or mission called the Voyager Interstellar Mission. It has multiple satellites missions in it, Voyager 1, Voyager 2, etc. And the objective is to study what is way beyond us, which means study what is beyond the sun's sphere of influence. Okay, that is why these probes are allowed to go beyond the heliosphere. Okay, so that is all about Voyager 2. I hope I am very clear. Aditya L1 mission, the fifth one, Aditya L1 mission, one of India's famous missions, so important for your prelims. ISRO obviously is the agency behind this one. First scientific expedition to study the sun. First, okay, there is a correction here. First Indian scientific mission. Okay, Indian scientific mission to study the sun. Okay, obtain information about the atmosphere and magnetic field. So sun has some kind of atmosphere. It has its own magnetic field. So in order to study all these things, Aditya L1 mission has been planned by the ISRO. First solar mission used and will be using the Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle in the XL configuration. So PSLV is one of India's flagship vehicles used to deliver lots of payloads. It has been very successful. Most successful launch vehicle of India has been the Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle. Very trustworthy as well. Okay, so this one is again used in the Aditya L1 mission, not the other one, GSLV. Okay, GSLVs are used to carry heavy payloads, used for Gaganyaan, Chandrayaan and all that, but Aditya mission uses PSLV. Study sun's outermost layers, the corona, chromosphere, and collect data about coronal mass ejection, space weather prediction, origin and evolution of solar storms. So all this happens within the sun, and in order to study these kinds of events, Aditya was sent. So what is space weather prediction? Sun, I have already told you, there is something called the solar wind. This causes trouble or interact with the magnetic field of other celestial bodies, including Earth. And this interaction causes various phenomena. This is known as the space weather. So in order to predict all these things, in order to predict the coronal mass ejection, which is a result of fusion and fission, okay, and finally to study the evolution of solar storms, okay, for all these things, Aditya will be sent to space. Aditya L1 will be placed in a halo orbit in the Lagrangian point L1 of the Sun-Earth system. So question is, what is Lagrangian point? L1, Aditya L1. So it says L1. L1 means Lagrangian point 1. Okay, there are many Lagrangian points. L1 here, the exact definition is, Lagrangian points are the locations in space where the combined gravitational pull of the two large masses roughly balance each other. You may have studied this in your physics in 9th or 10th standards. So here it's how it works. Here is one celestial object or a body or a high mass body. Here is another high mass body. Okay, these will interact gravitationally or otherwise. Okay, there will be some interaction. But at a particular point, the interaction between these or the forces among these will cancel out. Okay, so this body will have influence here, this one have influence here, and this point will have influence of neither of them or influence of both of them. So it is a 0 point. Understood? That point is called the Lagrangian point, where combined gravitational pull of both the bodies A and B is 0. Okay, so it will be placed in a static manner. It won't be affected by Earth's gravitational pull, and it won't be affected by the Sun's gravitational pull. That is called L1 point, a Lagrangian point. There are as many as 5 such points in the Sun-Earth system: L1, L2, L3, L4 and L5. There are multiple Lagrangian points, and there are 5 of them to be exact. Okay, so, and a halo orbit is a periodic 3-dimensional orbit near L1 and L2 and L3. This is additional information, this is not required, but just understand that what a halo orbit is. It is a 3-dimensional orbit near the L1, L2 and L3. Not much important. Okay, so that is all you need to know about Aditya mission. Okay, remember India's first solar mission using PSLV in order to study Earth's atmosphere, Sun's atmosphere, and places the satellite in the Lagrangian point. That's it. Parker Solar Probe, very famous solar probe recently in the news. It is by NASA. Okay, whenever you study about a solar probe, if it is an Indian solar probe, you will know because the names will be like that only. Aditya, Chandrayaan, Mangalyaan, easy to remember. But other foreign countries have a bit tougher name. Okay, China also very easy to remember, more Shenzhou, these kinds of names only. But Parker, this could easily be of USA or of European Space Agency. Okay, so make sure to study whether look into whether it is NASA or the European Space Agency. Okay, this one is NASA, and part of NASA's Living with a Star program explores different aspect of Sun-Earth system. So this is also exploring Sun-Earth system. Aditya also same duty, but an Indian mission. Study Sun's atmosphere, and it is the closest human-made object that has ever gone to Sun. So Aditya was placed in the L1, right? But Parker went beyond that. Parker went so close to the Sun, and that is the first or the only man-made object that has made it that far into the Sun. Okay, Parker, that has only the man-made object that came that much close to the Sun. So Parker Solar Probe has 3 detailed scientific objectives. What were the objectives? 1. Trace the flow of energy that heats and accelerates corona and solar wind. So solar wind is a very common phenomenon, and we are studying into that. And to trace the flow of energy, Parker was used. Determine the structure and dynamics of plasma and magnetic fields at the sources of solar wind. Okay. Third one, explore mechanisms that accelerate and transport energy particles. So Sun is emitting lots of radiations, gamma rays, alpha rays, beta, all those things are coming out. So to study all those transport energy particles, Parker was used. So these were the three chief objectives of Parker mission. Okay. So what about a few things about corona as well. Corona, not the coronavirus, about the corona sun. Okay, the part of sun that known as corona. Hotter than the surface of the sun. So sun has a surface and an atmosphere just like Earth, and sun's surface is comparatively less hot than the corona. Corona is outer layer. This is the corona. This will be the surface, and we have the core also. Core is very hot, okay, pretty hot. But compared to surface, corona is less hot. More hot. Okay, surface is less hot compared to corona. Gives rise, and this is the area which gives rise to solar winds, continuous flow of sharp particles that permeates solar system. So solar wind is the output that comes not from within the sun, not from the core of the sun or surface of the sun. It originates in the corona region. So Parker probe has been sent in to study all these things. Okay, remember it is a NASA mission related to Sun Earth system. That's it. Okay, Artemis program also in the news very recently. Artemis stands for acceleration, reconnection, turbulence, electrodynamics of moon's interaction with sun. Not important. You need not study the expansion of Artemis, but remember the last three. MIS stands for moon's interaction with sun. So far we saw some Earth Sun interaction things, but this is moon and sun. Okay, Artemis. NASA's mission to the moon in order to in collaboration with European Space Agency, Canadian Space Agency, and Japan Space Agency, Australian Space Agency. So this is not a one country mission, not a one nation mission. It is the chief nation behind this is USA. So NASA is the leader in this mission. But other space agencies like the ESA, the Canadian Space Agency, Canadian Space Agency, the Japanese Space Agency, also known as JAXA, okay, and Australian Space Agency. All these are coordinating in order in the Artemis program. Why is this sent? This is prepared in order to study what happens when sun's radiation hits rocky moon surface where there is no magnetic field. So I have told you Earth has a magnetic field, but this is not true about moon. Moon does not has a magnetic field to protect it. So what happens when sun's radiations directly hit the moon without being blocked by the magnetic field? In order to study this, Artemis program was implemented. Okay, that is the reason behind Artemis. Artemis was the twin sister of Apollo and goddess of the moon in Greek mythology. So most of these satellites or missions of USA and foreign countries are named after Greek gods. Okay, that is some kind of standards that they always follow. And Artemis, according to Greek mythology, was the twin sister of Apollo. Apollo is the son of, one of the prominent gods of Greeks. Okay, resembling sun. Okay, and goddess of the moon. So Apollo is sun, and this is goddess of the moon. So Artemis mission is the twin sister of Apollo. First woman and next man into the moon by 2024. So Artemis mission will have some humans in it, and it will be sending the first woman ever to go into moon. First woman ever to land on moon will be the Artemis mission. If it is success, then that will be history. Okay, it is planned on 2024. Space launch vehicle and Orion spacecraft. So the vehicle used is the Orion spacecraft. Not that much important. Just as a point, remember. Artemis 1. Okay, there will be multiple Artemis missions 1, 2, and 3, just like the Gaganyaan 1, 2, and 3. Artemis 1 will be uncrewed, and this will be more like a test flight. Okay, in order to prepare for Artemis 3, the main mission, we will have some 2 trial missions. One is Artemis 1, 2 is Artemis 2. But in this one, there will be crew, and this is in order to test the flight of the crew. And finally, the landing will happen in 2024 in Artemis 3 mission. Okay, that is the most important and the final mission. Gaganyaan also. Gaganyaan 3 is the final mission. 1 and 2 are trials. Same thing happens with Artemis program as well. Okay, that is it. Dragonfly. What is Dragonfly? Okay, question can come in UPSC asking you which of the following statements best describes Dragonfly, and they will give some uh, points and you will have to identify that. So it is nothing related to the original Dragonfly, it is everything to do with NASA's unmanned nuclear powered drone expected on 2026. It is unmanned, it is nuclear powered. These 2 points are important. Okay, this is in order to search for life on Saturn's largest moon, Titan. So what is the largest moon on the solar system? It is Ganymede, right? Ganymede is the largest moon on solar system, and this one is sent to Saturn's largest moon, Titan. Okay, succeeds NASA's Cassini probe, which ended the 13-year mission orbiting Saturn by diving and ending in the Saturn atmosphere. So Cassini was NASA's first probe that studied into Saturn, and after the 13-year period or its target, when the mission was completed, the probe was allowed to collapse into Saturn. That is how it was given away. Okay, it was allowed to go into Saturn and destroy itself. So this is Dragonfly will be the second mission, or will be a successor of Cassini. Okay, part of NASA's New Frontiers program, very famous program, New Frontiers. New Frontiers program is implemented in order to explore outer space, means things beyond our usual space probes. We study about moon or Mars and those outer spaces, but New Frontiers actually explores the part of the space that has not been explored yet. So beyond Saturn, beyond Jupiter, beyond heliosphere. Okay, this is the area of interest for NASA's New Frontiers mission. So there has been some previous um, uh, flights that has happened in this mission, including New Horizons. New Horizons was sent in to study Pluto, outermost planet. It was a planet back then, but now it is a dwarf planet, Pluto. Then the Juno was sent in to study Jupiter. Then Osiris-Rex was sent in to study an asteroid named Bennu. Okay, Bennu asteroid was studied using the Osiris-Rex project. So if you look at this, it is all very unconventional and very new kind of projects. So these kinds of explorations are done by New Frontiers program of NASA. Okay, now it replaces the Titan Saturn system mission. This is a discontinued mission. Okay, this mission which was supposed to study Titan was discontinued and was replaced by the Dragonfly. Titan is larger than the planet Mercury and is the second largest moon in the solar system. This is just some features about Titan. Okay, bigger than Mercury, which means it is bigger than a planet itself, and it is the second largest moon. First being the Ganymede. Okay, explore diverse environments for organic dunes. Okay, impact crater, liquid water. So usual things. We are going to see whether the water is available. What did life exist in that moon before? So all these things will be studied by Dragonfly, and also we'll look for chemical evidence of past life form if it was there. Okay, that's all about Dragonfly mission. Osiris-Rex. This has been in the news quite a while, so chances of this coming in the question paper is very high. Okay, so it is also a NASA mission, and it is an asteroid probe, which means we know what are asteroids, right? Asteroids are seen between the two belts, between Mars, two planets, Mars and Jupiter. Here is Mars, here is Jupiter, and asteroids are here. Okay, asteroids are there. So this is the asteroid ring, and Osiris-Rex will actually land in one of these asteroids. That is very hard, difficult task, but it has been achieved. So this is an asteroid probe developed by NASA. Okay, so 680 meters above asteroid Bennu's surface for about 7 weeks. So it hasn't landed yet, it wasn't successfully landed yet, but it has come as close as 680 meters close to Bennu. Bennu is one of the asteroids in this ring, in this belt. Okay, and this came, Osiris-Rex was sent in to study Bennu, just about half a kilometer away from it. Okay, stands for Origins, Spectral Interpretation, Resource Identification, Security, Regolith, Explorer. So this is the expansion of Osiris-Rex. Not important. Just remember the name of the asteroid, Bennu. That's it. And remember, it was sent by NASA. Only these two points are exam oriented. Okay. Third mission in the NASA's New Frontiers program. So I already told you what New Frontiers program is. So remember, this is also part of the New Frontiers program. Other programs being the Dragonfly, the New Horizons, Juno, and Osiris-Rex. Okay, these are the other programs within the New Frontiers program. Bennu is a primitive asteroid, also very rich in carbon, and it is a potentially hazardous asteroid. Question is, what is a potentially hazardous asteroid? So we know that there are many celestial bodies that revolve around that move around the space, right? Some like comets, meteors, asteroids, all are there. But the problem is, there is a good chance that some of them might come very close to Earth or even may impact onto the Earth's surface, causing heavy destruction. So these are known as potentially hazardous asteroids. Okay, earlier time, about a decade ago, 10 to 12 years ago, there was something like QQ47. Okay, this was another meteoroid that was supposed to hit Earth, but it didn't hit because it missed by some margin. Okay, similarly, such potentially hazardous objects are there in space, and this is one of them, Bennu. Alright, Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle. So we have looked into some of the celestial bodies, looked into certain missions. Now let's see about the three important space vehicles of ISRO. ISRO has three vehicles: PSLV, Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle, Geosynchronous Satellite Launch Vehicle, and the Small Satellite Launch Vehicle. So these are the three satellite launch vehicles possessed by ISRO, and we will be looking into each of them in detail. So, Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle of ISRO delivered to Earth observation and remote sensing satellites. Okay, these are used to deliver Earth observation and remote sensing satellites. So, not the high altitude communication satellites. These are more for reconnaissance purposes. Okay. Lift-off mass up to 1750 kg to sun synchronous circular polar orbits of 600 to 900 kilometers at altitude. So the payload maximum weight of 1750 kilogram. So 1.75 ton. That is the maximum payload capacity of polar satellite launch vehicles, and it delivers to sun synchronous circular polar orbits. So what is a sun synchronous orbit? Sun synchronous, that is I have given it here. A sun synchronous orbit, also called as a heliosynchronous orbit, because helio means sun. Okay, so sun synchronous orbit or heliosynchronous orbit is a nearly polar orbit around the planet, in which the satellite passes over any given point of the planet's surface at the same local mean solar time. So it means that if you look at the skies, you will see that it passes this particular orbit. Whatever is kept in this particular orbit will pass that exact same point at the same local mean solar time. That orbit is known as sun synchronous or heliosynchronous orbit. It is a circular orbit around the Earth. Then we have the polar orbit. Polar orbit means is one in which a satellite passes above or nearly above both poles of the body, being orbited in each revolution. It therefore has inclination of 90 degrees to body's equator. This is not important, but the first statement, it passes. So the polar orbit is something like this. If this is the Earth, this is North Pole and this is South Pole, it will rotate something like this. Okay, we can rotate in many ways, horizontally, vertically, diagonally, everything is possible. Polar orbit is something like this. It rotates very closely to the poles, around the poles. Okay. Back to what a PSLV is. It is a 4-staged launch vehicle with alternate solid and liquid stages. So there are many stages in a launch vehicle. Which gives its combustion. Okay, so in order to have a lift off, we need high energy, right? High amount of combustion is required. So mostly, always, the first stage of a rocket will be solid, or because only solid fuels can give that kind of energy, that kind of impact for that initial lift off. But once it clears a particular area, then liquid fuel is more than enough to keep the momentum and go out of the atmosphere. So this is also a four-stage launch vehicle having alternate solid, liquid. This is how the configuration of PSLV. Okay, third generation launch vehicle and the first Indian launch vehicle to be equipped with liquid stages. So PSLV is the first launch vehicle to have liquid stages in India. Other launch vehicles used previously by ISRO is completely based on solid fuels, no liquid fuels. Okay, so that's all about PSLV. Coming to geosynchronous satellite launch vehicle or the GSLV. What is a GSLV? It is used for delivering communication satellites to highly elliptical geosynchronous transfer orbit. So earlier we saw PSLV sensing Earth observation and remote sensing satellites, but geosynchronous satellites are used for much higher payloads, heavy payloads. So communication satellites are sent into space using this particular launch vehicle into the highly elliptical geosynchronous transfer orbit. Okay, so what does it mean by geosynchronous? Geosynchronous means orbit synchronizes with the rotation of Earth. Okay, which means if you look at the skies and you will be able to see this satellite. Okay, at the same position every day. You won't miss it because it is also rotating along with the Earth. So it appears to be stationary for us. Understood? So it is always rotating along with the Earth and it appears stationary, and this enables communication properly. If it rotates at a different speed, then communication will be disturbed, right? Because signals will have to go longer ways, shorter ways, and all that. But this is stationary as far as Earth is concerned because it is rotating at the same speed as Earth is doing. Alright, so such satellites are called such an orbit is called geosynchronous orbit. Geostationary orbit means same thing except it is above the Earth's equator. So if this is Earth, geosynchronous orbit can be something like this. Okay, maybe, or some other direction only also. So this is geosynchronous orbit. Geostationary will be, if this is the equator, geostationary will be exactly through the equator. That is the only difference between geosynchronous and geostationary. Okay, regarding the orbit. So let's come back to geosynchronous satellite launch vehicle. So there are two versions of GSLVs. One is the Mark II, other is the Mark III. Okay, Mark II and Mark III. Mark III has been used for Chandrayaan and will be used Chandrayaan II and will be used for Gaganyaan as well. Mark III. So what are the features of Mark II? Okay, I am putting this of importance because this is one of India's most important launch vehicles and questions could come from this. This is a three-stage vehicle with four liquid strap-ons. So four liquid strap-ons means if you remember a rocket, this is how a rocket looks like. Like there will be a rocket main body, then there will be some strap-ons, 1, 2, 3, and behind that 4. This is the extra additional strap-ons. These four strap-ons are liquid in nature. Okay, and the main core or the main ejector combustor have three stages in it. PSLV had four stages. This one has three stages. Okay, so the stages are solid, liquid, and a cryogenic upper stage. So solid will always be the first stage. I told you why, because only solid fuel can give you that kind of combustion which will enable a takeoff. Then we have liquid and the upper layer is cryogenic. Why is it made cryogenic? Because it conserves a lot of fuel. Okay, because bigger higher missions or those things that have to go beyond a particular area distance will need some kind of fuel, and usually fuels will run out very easily. And suns, we cannot use solar energy forever as well because sun's influence also reduces as we move beyond a particular distance. So cryogenic technology has been introduced by India, ISRO. So the third stage of GSLV is cryogenic upper stage. So liftoff mass is 2,500 kg to geosynchronous transfer orbit and 5,000 kg to lower Earth orbit. So geosynchronous transfer orbit is a higher orbit. So up to that orbit only 2,500 kilos can be lifted off using GSLV Mark II. but to the lower Earth orbit, which is much close to the Earth's surface, we can lift off up to 5000 kg. Okay, remember PSLV has a lift-off mass of 1750 kg PSLV, and look at here, almost 3 times the weight can be lifted off using this new vehicle. That is all about Mark II. Coming to Mark III, Mark III is also a 3-stage vehicle which has an indigenous cryogenic upper stage engine. Okay, so here we have 2 solid fuel strap-on engines, liquid propellant core as second stage, and then the cryogenic third stage. So 2 solid fuel strap-ons. So imagine, look at this. I told you, in order to have a lift-off, you need a solid stage as the first one. First stage should be solid. So along with that, we have 2 solid fuel straps also. GSLV Mark II used 4 liquid strap-ons, right? This one Mark III uses solid strap-ons, 2 solid strap-ons. So imagine the power of liftoff. Okay, so this is the reason why Mark III can lift off much higher payloads. Okay, look at the liftoff weight here: 4000 kilograms to geosynchronous transfer orbit and 10,000 kilograms to lower Earth orbit. See how much extra weight it can. It is almost twice the weight GSLV Mark II can do it. That is the importance of Mark III. More number of solid stages at the beginning will enable a better powerful takeoff. Okay, so this is the logic behind that. Okay, so that is about GSLV Mark II and Mark III. And as far as cryogenic stage is concerned, USA, Russia, France, Japan and China has this technology already. So when we looked at earlier, India lagged behind 3 countries always: Soviet Union, USA and China. Here France and Japan also has the technology. Okay, now India also has that. Small satellite launch vehicle. So we have covered PSLV and GSLV. We are coming to the last satellite launch vehicle, which is known as the SSLV, or the small satellite launch vehicle, also built by ISRO. Payload capacity of 500 kilos. Okay, see, very less capacity, not as powerful as any of the previous ones. Okay, to lower Earth orbit, or 300 kg, even less, to Sun synchronous orbit. So from this itself, we can know what this is designed for. This is designed for small satellites. This is designed for commercial use. Look here, commercially very low price. Okay, that is the theme, or that is the objective of this launch vehicle. We are designing something that is very cheap for smaller missions, very small missions. We have CubeSats, right? CubeSats or nano satellites. Okay, we have micro satellites, we have small satellites. These can be pushed into the various Sun synchronous orbit or the lower Earth orbit using the small satellite launch vehicle. Okay, this is designed by VSSC, Vikram Sarabhai Space Center. Understood? It can accommodate multiple satellites. Okay, so the net capacity should be 500 or to the lower Earth orbit, or 300 to Sun synchronous orbit, but it necessarily need not be one satellite. More than one satellites can be clustered into it, as long as the net weight does not go beyond 500 kg or 300 kg. Okay, can be assembled both vertically and horizontally. So most of the rockets, launch vehicles, PSLVs and GSLVs are all assembled vertically. You may have seen this in movies or in internet. Here the rocket is here, and there will be some kind of structure like this, right? Used for assembling this rocket. This is called vertical assembly. Okay, this one, small satellite launch vehicle, can be assembled horizontally as well. This is a very particular interesting feature of SSLV. This also has 4 stages: solid, 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 and a velocity trimming module. So liquid is not used here because that initial liftoff is more than enough to get it into the space. Okay, we need not have require a propellant to get it all the way beyond anything, because the mass is very less. The initial liftoff is more than enough. So we have 4 stages. All of them are solid. The last one is a velocity trimming module. Okay, that is all about small satellite launch vehicle. Gemini. Okay, so what is Gemini? Gemini is another flagship program of India. It stands for Gagan Enabled Mariner's Instrument for Navigation and Information. This is Gemini. But when you hear sorry, when you hear the name, you might think Gemini is something of NASA or European Space Agency or something like that. But Gemini is India's device. Okay, it is built or designed by Government of India. All right, it is a satellite based advisory service for deep sea fishermen. Okay, so fishermen, they go out into the deep seas, so they do not know the quantity of the fish that is available there. They do not know if some storm is coming and all that. And our early warning systems are all, not up to the mark. So we have used Gemini in order to coordinate all these things in order to get better what predictions and all. Okay, so it is used for disaster warnings, potential fishing zones, ocean state forecasts, everything for fishermen. This is exclusively designed for fishermen. Disaster warning, potential fishing zones. So in order by using satellite, we can check how the quantity of the fish that is available in various areas. So it is used for that. Then ocean states forecasts. Okay, so for all these things, Gemini is employed. Developed by the Indian National Center for Ocean Information Services, or the INCOIS, along with Airport Authority of India. Alright, and these are the two agencies that develop this. It is not ISRO, it is not VSSC, it is INCOIS and AAI. Gaganyaan satellites along with Bluetooth communication. Sorry, not Gaganyaan, Gagan. Okay, Gagan is India's what kind of GPS, right? Gagan is used for communication purposes, and it uses Gagan satellites in order to obtain this data, and it transmits into radios using the Bluetooth communication, not radios, to the receivers using the Bluetooth communication technology. Okay, not other not radio signals, not X-rays or not any other waves. It uses Bluetooth technology. This is a potential or initial stage for blue revolution. So our government has implemented many projects in order to uplift India's potential of coasts. India has a huge coastline that is greater than 5,000 kilometers, and so we have much in the fisheries sector. But unfortunately, India is not up to the mark in this sector. So a blue revolution is proposed, and this is one of the this is one of initiatives that can achieve the blue revolution. Okay, so remember, Gemini is related to fishermen. Okay, if you remember this one particular link, everything else will come into you. Okay, that is about Gemini. Clear Space 1 mission. Okay, so what is Clear Space 1? It is by European Space Agency, not NASA, not ISRO. It is from ESA, European Space Agency. 4-armed robot chaser to clean up Earth's orbit in 2025. So we know that there has been lots of debris in Earth's circulating around Earth. So this is planet Earth. Okay, and here completely we have debris. Debris means junks, rubbish, trash in the space. Okay, full of debris. So what happens whenever there is a good chance that these debris can collide with useful satellites or rockets and destroy the mission? It could be a potentially dangerous thing. So we have to clean up this debris. Okay, for that purpose, Clear Space mission is launched using a 4-armed robot named Chaser. So what does this Chaser do? Okay, Chaser is developed by a Swiss startup named Clear Space under the Clear Space 1 mission. Okay, so what does this do? This actually is targeted to remove a specific junk named Vespa. Okay, one of the debris has been named as Vespa, and this mission will remove this Vespa, which is about 800 kilometers from Earth. Okay, that is the intended target. If you remember, sometime back China attempted to remove one of the debris. What they did was, it was a previous Chinese satellite which was the debris. So they used a missile and launched that into this satellite. They expected that this will undergo complete combustion and entire thing will be destroyed. But everything went ulta. The satellite got hit by the missile and everything blasted off. And instead of having one debris, now we have millions of debris. Okay, it was a complete fiasco, China's attempt to clear that debris. Okay, so debris need not be a satellite, it can be a screw, one particular nut or bolt, that itself is a debris. Debris will be traveling at speeds like 20,000 kilometers. Imagine, even if it is a small screw, if it is traveling at these kinds of speeds, one collision will be enough to destroy a satellite or a space station or whatever. Okay, and one important word regarding this one is Kessler syndrome. So what is Kessler syndrome? Kessler syndrome is a self-sustaining collision. Okay, self-sustaining collision. What does self-sustaining collision means? It means one debris will collide with another and it will break up into pieces. These pieces will collide with other debris and causes a chain reaction. It is a self-sustaining chain reaction, a collision reaction. Okay, this is called Kessler's syndrome. So Kessler said that after some time, when the amount of debris is at a particular limit, it will start a self-sustaining collision which will completely go on forever. So in order to prevent that, we have to remove the debris. So that is Kessler's syndrome. Do not forget that. Okay, so that is about clear space fund mission. Gravitational lensing, another important topic that has been in the newspaper very recently. Hindu news. I have read this in the Hindu newspaper. Okay, so NASA announced the plan to use the phenomena of gravitational lensing in its research. Okay, so that is why it is in the news, and it is using the James Webb Space Telescope. So I am going to tell you what all these things are. Now just understand that this has been in the news from NASA. Okay, so again, this is used for studying how new stars are born by the natural phenomenon called the gravitational lensing. Okay, so how is this stars born? That is the question. We know how a star dies, right? Stars will become supernovas and it will become white dwarfs, and in the end it will become a black hole. That is how the star dies. So how is one created? That is the question. In order to study that, we use the gravitational lensing method. Okay, this is a phenomenon actually, and this particular thing is used for studying this phenomena. Templates targeting extremely magnified panchromatic lens stars and their extended star formation. Not important, just understand this word templates. It deals with gravitational lensing. So what is gravitational lensing? It is a phenomenon which which occurs when a huge amount of matter, such as a massive galaxy or a cluster of galaxies, creating a gravitational field, distorts and magnifies the light from objects behind it in the same line of sight. Don't worry, I will explain it to you so that you will understand. So this is what happens. We have Earth situated here. Okay, and we are looking into space to study how a star is born. So what happens is, here we are observing, say, this star, okay, very far away from Earth, very billions of kilometers, billions of light years far away from Earth. Okay, and in between this Earth and that star there will be millions of galaxies, millions of other stars. Okay, clusters of galaxies. So a galaxy is a very big celestial body, right, made up of millions of stars, planets and all those things. Milky Way is a galaxy, right? Similarly, many galaxies exist, each has many stars, many planets. Okay, so there will be millions of galaxies or a cluster of galaxies here on the way, together forming a huge celestial body. So the star which is being born here, okay, will start emitting light in all directions. Okay, so this light ray will go through here, but what happens? There is a gravitational field for these galaxies. This gravitational field will magnify the emitted light. Okay, so although the star is very distant and the light barely reaches Earth, the point is, due to the presence of these massive bodies in between the sun, Earth and that star, the star's light is magnified at least 50 times. Okay, about 50 times it is magnified, and the light will appear much brighter. So it is easier for us to study that. Okay, that is what is this phenomenon is known as gravitational lensing. It is a naturally occurring phenomenon where galaxies or group of galaxies together, using their gravitational field, magnifies the light of a star which is in the same line of sight. So the star and Earth are on the same line of sight. Okay, and the galaxies come in between, magnifying the light emitted by the star using gravitational waves. Okay, I hope you understood this. This is used for studying faraway galaxies. Observe invisible things in the universe. For example, dark matter, or say black hole. Okay, black hole. Black hole cannot be seen by any method usually. Why? Because whatever goes into the black hole does not come out. Even light cannot come out of black hole. That kind of gravity is present in black hole. So if we cannot bounce light off a surface, then it is invisible to us. We are able to see this pen because light is hitting this pen and coming to my eyes. That is why we can see this. In as far as black hole is concerned, it will absorb the light, so I can't, it will not bounce back anything into my eyes, so I can see it. This will be invisible. Okay, same technology, same theory is applicable to black holes as well, but it can be visible if this gravitational lensing is used. Why? Because gravitational lensing will cause a aura around the black hole, so that this black hole will appear as a shadow. Okay, so the gravitational lensing will magnify the light and black hole will be in the middle of it, and this will be a shadow, so we will know that there is a black hole there because no light is coming through it. Okay, so this can be used, gravitational lensing can be used in order to observe invisible things in the universe, understand star formation. So these are the applications of gravitational lensing. Understood? I hope I am clear. Okay, we are about to end the session, only a couple more slides to go. Okay, accretion burst event. Okay, accretion burst event, what is it? Stars are formed by rotating disk of gases funneling matter into the center of the glowing star, causing it to acquire more mass. Okay, recently astronomers found that rate at which the funneling of matters occur differ from time to time. So this is how stars are formed. Okay, this is the theory, which means it something that keeps on rotating, it will funnel matter into the center, causing, which will give birth to the star. So something that rotates will always have centripetal force. This will attract everything, particles together into a single body which will have high gravity, and this is how the stars are formed. This is the theory. Okay, and this particular technique is called accretion burst event. Okay, where everything is funneled into the center for causing the formation of star. This is a very rare scenario and has been observed only about 3 times. There are billions of stars out there, but we have seen this event only 3 times so far. Okay, very rare event. First detected in 2016, and this was the instrument that was used for doing that. Maser Monitoring Organization has been created to do that. So what happened was, in 2016 this was detected, and 2017 it was detected again at some other place. So we have to coordinate all this because this is a very rare event and we cannot expect every country to monitor everything. So an international collaboration was made. This is known as the Maser Monitoring Organization, or M2O, in order to study this event, accretion burst event. Okay, M2O is an international collaboration of scientists dedicated to flagging masers in order to learn more about the birth of massive stars, among other cosmic phenomena. Okay, so what is a maser? It's a microwave equivalent laser. I mean, it's kind of a laser, but in the microwave length. Okay, laser can be of various lengths. This is microwave. Word stands for microwave amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. Not important. Okay. Masers are observed using radio telescopes, and most of them are observed at the centimeter wavelength. This is also not that much important. These are about masers, not not highly important. Just understand this, read on it, that's it. A maser flare can be a sign of extraordinary event such as formation of a star. This is why this is important. So whenever a star is formed, some kind of flares or some kind of light is emitted, and a maser flare is particularly an extraordinary event that happens during star formation. So using this maser, by studying this maser flare, we can study the birth of a star. Okay, so in order to study this Maser events, we made the Maser Monitoring Organization as an international collaboration. Okay, astronomers will be able to develop and test theories and explain how high masses stars gain their mass. So certain stars are of very high mass. Sun is actually one of the smallest stars, right? There are stars which are thousands of times larger than the sun. So how is that much mass coming into that star? This can all be studied using this particular technique, using the Maser flares. Okay, accretion burst event. Okay, helium hydride ion, which is the last topic for the day. 16th one, helium hydride. Helium hydride molecule is HEH. The chemical formula is helium He, which is an inert gas. Okay, but the molecule atomic level helium along with one hydrogen atom together forms the helium hydride molecule. Okay, has been spotted for the first time in the space. So helium hydride was considered as the one of the first compounds formed during the Big Bang. Okay, this was an expected compound, although this was found only recently. Practically, this was theorized earlier itself. Scientists expected to find this compound beforehand itself. Okay, helium and hydrogen together. Okay, helium is an inert gas, it does not react with any other gas. Remember, helium, argon, neon, xenon, radon, these are inert gases. So along with, now scientists found the helium hydride molecule. This is also called hydrohelium and it's a positively charged ion. So positively charged ions are also known as cations. Okay, cation. So this is a cation of +1 charge. Okay, hydrohelium. Okay, hydrohelium ion, which is a cation having charge 1. The name for helium hydride molecule. Okay, helium atom bonded to a hydrogen atom with 1 electron removed. That is how this is formed. Helium atom, 1 electron removed, and we insert a hydrogen atom. That is it. Okay, it can also be viewed as a protonated helium. So hydrogen atom means 1 proton. That is it. Hydrogen has 1 electron and 1 proton, right? Remember, you have studied this in chemistry at the very beginning. So when adding hydrogen to something is usually like protonating that thing, adding 1 proton. The mass of hydrogen is 1, right? 1 atomic mass. So this is protonated helium, another name for helium hydride. Get it? Lightest heteronuclear ion. So heteronuclear ion means at least 2 nucleus. Multiple nucleus is also possible, but at least 2 nucleus should be there in a heteronuclear ion, and this is the lightest one. Why? Simple, because it has the 2 lightest gases, hydrogen and helium, atomic mass 1 and 2. So this is the lightest heteronuclear ion ever found or theoretically possible. Alright, and yeah, as I have said, it is one of the first compounds formed during the Big Bang theory, Big Bang phenomenon. Okay, so that is all about for today. So I will see you again tomorrow with another session regarding science and technology. We will be looking into environment parts. Okay, in science and technology, we will be looking into other space missions. There are much more than this. We will be looking into missile systems. We will be looking into such anything that physics, chemistry, and those static areas. Okay, all this will be covered in the next 4 sessions every day at 11 a.m. Okay, and I have a quiz every day at 4 p.m. in the same channel. So please be there and try to answer the quiz. I have already, it is a current affairs quiz. Okay, current affairs quiz for the comprehensive current affairs for UPSC 2020. Okay, so please do say like, subscribe, and share. You can use my telephone number to make any queries or anything you want. Okay, and use my code in order to get a subscription in Unacademy. Okay, so that's it for today. See you today evening. Until then, bye.